Yes, folks, Meng Foon is New Zealand's latest Race Relations Commissioner. So here we go again, folks, more division. Now, folks, when I was young, there was a word called racism, but it was pretty much unheard of. It was never propagandized like it is today. It appears that racism exists in every nook and cranny these days, or so the left claim, and have been claiming now for decades. And they've also been fighting this so-called racism for decades. So why hasn't it gone away? Well, the answer is quite simple. They don't want it to go away. They need victims for their political survival. They need racial division for the survival of their identity politics. So if they were really concerned about racism, they wouldn't keep on pushing for apartheid-style policies, now would they? Anyway, let's meet Meng Foon.
Race relations is complex and more than just racism. They are the words of our new Race Relations Commissioner, Meng Foon, who until now has been Mayor of Gisborne. And some of the challenges he faces were laid bare today in his own city, as Kim Baker-Wilson reports.
A Captain Cook statue in Gisborne, again a focus of frustration. Sprawled words of anger in this footage from Māori television. It's just the kind of thing Gisborne's mayor of almost 2 decades will have to tackle in his new job.
Yes, I wonder how he will tackle the statue situation. Maybe he'll pull it down, perhaps. Erase our history because it offends someone, perhaps.
Yeah, I thought I was retiring, but I've always wanted to continue public service.
And he will for the next 5 years as Race Relations Commissioner. Meng Foon's credentials have long been on show.
Dear Lord, let us celebrate the multiculturalism of our wonderful country.
So, in other words, let's celebrate the failing non-assimilation policy that is dividing this nation.
Fluent in Māori, Cantonese and English, and learning Mandarin.
Tēnā koutou.
It's been a year since Dame Susan Devoy left the job.
Yeah, look, it's been really regrettable that it has taken that long, but when we were ready to make an appointment at the end of last year, there was legal action.
It was from someone else who wanted the position. That action only came to an end last month, paving the way for Mr. Foon's appointment.
I think that's awesome. He's been around for a while and I'll expect him to be around for a long time.
I think it's wonderful. He's been a marvellous man, a mayor for Gisborne.
Strong support as well from the top.
That's the great thing about Meng. He walks in many worlds and he's a fluent speaker of Te Reo.
Oh my God, that really makes him qualified, doesn't it?
Has grown up in the Pākehā world as well, in the world of business. He walks in the Chinese community and their world.
We do have a bit of racism within each and every one of us.
So all New Zealanders are a little bit racist. So his job is to stop racists from offending other racists.
We have a bit of bias, we have a bit of prejudice, and we have unconscious bias as well.
Oh, unconscious bias. That's a lovely one, isn't it? So unconscious bias essentially means stereotyping a group of people. Well, didn't he just do that just then when he stereotyped all New Zealanders as being a bit racist? Yeah, and now folks, let's not forget Susan Devoy and her appalling record as Race Relations Commissioner.
The Race Relations Commissioner is working on a new anti-racism campaign. Dame Susan Devoy says she's concerned about how New Zealanders will treat the newly arrived refugees after a groundswell of support for increasing the quota. Last year, the 82 Syrians landed here 2 weeks ago, along with others from Myanmar, Afghanistan, Palestine, Colombia and Iraq. Dame Susan has been outspoken when it comes to migrants and refugees. She hit the headlines last year when she supported a migrant group's policy of using non-religious Christmas greetings.
What migrant group, John? Let's not mention the word Muslim, John.
Prompting an outcry that she was seeking to, quote, ban Christmas. And some of the feedback she received was really ugly. Dame Susan Devoy is with me in the studio. I've looked really hard. You didn't say anywhere you wanted to ban Christmas, did you? Or suggest even for a moment that we should ban the language of Christmas. What were you trying to say?
Oh, well, it's simple, really. I was asked for a comment on the Auckland Regional Migrant Services calling their end-of-year lunch a festive lunch.
Yeah, I think that's where she defended them for using the term happy holidays instead of Christmas.
And I defended their right to do it. They can call it what they like, really.
No, they can't call it what they like, really. This is a Christian nation. And they have to assimilate into our culture and not vice versa.
You were pushed really hard for a comment, weren't you?
Yeah, sort of backed into a corner, really. I probably saw it coming, but, you know, it became the war against Christmas, and I was the Grinch who was trying to steal Christmas.
Stop. Do you celebrate Christmas?
Of course I celebrate Christmas.
Do you say Merry Christmas to your children on Christmas Day and have a tree and do all that stuff?
Yeah, we do all of that, you know, and we just like most New Zealanders do, actually, but...
But equally, part of being a cosmopolitan 21st century country is the understanding that actually Christmas doesn't mean terribly much at all to some people, right?
No, we need to understand that, you know, and I just didn't think there was anything at all offensive of calling an end-of-year supposed Christmas lunch a festive lunch to encourage the refugees and migrants that they're trying to actually to make them feel included and come to a function.
It seems in retrospect that you were just thrown to...
The wolves.
Yeah, the wolves. How did the wolves respond?
Oh, well, I think it was just one of those things that was, I don't think it was one of those things that was blown out of proportion, but I think what gets you really is the understanding or the appreciation of just how nasty New Zealanders can be. You know,
Can you tell me about the nastiness? Because I've heard of some examples and I wonder if you can clarify them for me.
Oh, well, just, you know, the constant... I mean, I got a lot more Christmas cards this year.
Saying what?
Not very nasty. I've even had lots of books sent on religion. I think they're from sort of the kind folk who think I need to understand a few things. I got a box full of dog whatevers.
Dog?
Feces. Dog shit. You know.
Someone sent you dog shit?
Yeah, and a lovely Christmas wrap parcel into my house. And
at home?
Yeah, and I think the most disturbing thing about that was that someone came during the night because it was there when I got up in the morning. And it had "you are," and I opened it up and, you know. You
are shit.
Oh, dear. Now, I wouldn't like anybody coming past my house at night either, but I completely understand the sentiment. This woman was really, really divisive during her whole tenure, her whole tenure as the Race Relations Commissioner. So I'm just going to skip ahead a bit.
So you're saying in your job, with your hat, double the quota?
Oh, most definitely. You know, the officials are saying we have the capacity to do so. The refurbishment at Mangere allows us to have the... you know, to house all those people in resettlement. We are world leaders in this.
I don't think we understand that. I mean, you've been to Mangere and I've been to Mangere, and what happens there is that people are delicately manoeuvred through the process of becoming New Zealanders.
Ah, yes. And at these centres, they encourage them to maintain their own cultures and celebrate their own cultures. And they're also encouraged to be on the lookout for any forms of racism, and they are encouraged to report on it. And again, further dividing this nation.
So they don't just arrive at the border, get given a bus ticket, see you later. They actually explain, and it's phenomenally successful, isn't it? Touch wood.
No, it is. Those first 6 weeks and then the wonderful work that the Red Cross does. What we do need is New Zealanders after that period to actually get in behind and support, to help them find work, to make them feel part of their communities, you know, to encourage them, to actually make them feel like Kiwis, regardless of whether they come from. That's what's really, really important. We've got a wonderfully successful record of refugees. You know, New Zealanders have nothing to fear. You know, they want to be... They've come here for refuge and protection. That's what it...
Yes, they've come here for refuge and protection. So that's why they bring their own failed cultures with them. Yes, folks, why on earth do we need a Race Relations Commissioner? They do nothing except divide this nation. They pit one group against the other. But sadly, folks, I think that is their very intention.